So how does this work on Zoom Live? Never done Zoom Live before.
Have now. Hey, everyone. Professor Rogue, we have the wonderful Northwoods TCG live today. And yeah, we're gonna just have a chill out and have a drink and yeah, just hang out with you guys. So Northwoods, do you want to give a little intro, little background? You have blessed me with the honor of being on your channel. I'm very excited doing that. I thoroughly enjoyed those live streams we did, and I finally managed to get you onto mine. So yeah, you want to go?
Yeah, my name, I'm Andy with Northwoods TCG. Started the channel as an opening channel, and then, as times kind of change, you realize that I'm not exciting or charismatic enough to be PokeRev on the YouTube circuit. So switched over to just doing what I do best, which is looking at data, pulling data apart, definitely giving advice on what we're doing currently on flipping, selling, and investing on long-term products. And that's basically what our channel has been built on so far, is just trying to give good, solid advice, safe advice versus the invest in everything type mentality, and definitely keep people in a little bit safer, better place of mind.
You know, it was interesting today on you were talking about on the video that you did about a few different things with the flip and flop. Really enjoyed that. That felt real fresh and new, and something I hadn't seen before. And I loved that you touched on the pre-release, like, was it the Build and Battle kit or Stadium or box? I forget what the name is,
Yep.
but like, I don't see anyone buying those to collect and keep and love. Like, there's no like passion for that product, right? I've never seen anyone be passionate or excited about that.
I've seen people talk about the build and battle boxes being a collectible item because the thought process behind them is that they are a limited release. They don't do reprints of them. They're only available like technically they're all released in the first 2 weeks of the print. But, a lot of people say because of that, they're exclusive, a little bit harder to find. They always come up with the investment strategies on those. And of course, I kind of dove into those a little bit. Yeah, probably about 4 months ago. Look at what we're really looking at. And if you actually look at build and battle boxes, so far, the only ones that have done well have a Charizard in them. So if you look at all Team Up, it has got a huge hitting built-in battle box. Of course, XY Evolutions has one. Vivid Voltage is doing really well. It's running about $60 to $70, but that Charizard inside of it alone, if you get that Charizard, is running $60 to $70 just the promo card itself.
That's what feeds
so once
it.
Again, yeah, it's just got that behind it with Charizard with that chase. Once again, chase for Charizard in them. But all the rest of the build and battle boxes, really, you go back and look, and I mean, even XY era ones are, $40. So realistically, they kind of, the only thing I do like about them is that they're a little bit of a display piece. They look good. If you were to line them up on a shelf, like for all the eras, you can make kind of a nice little display piece out of them. But, for investment wise, it's only the Charizard ones that I feel are going to be really the good price points when it's all said and done.
They only have like 3 packs in them or something, right? How many packs do they have?
4.
Is it 4? Yeah, like
four packs, and then they got a pre-made. It's got the promo card in it,
the promo
and a pre-made deck in it that you can actually use as the playing deck, and then you pull cards from those to either look at, because you may not get everything you need to make a deck, or you can actually use those cards in the deck to enhance it if you're at the actual pre-release tournaments. So it kind of makes the pre-release tournaments it makes them even, and then you can amplify as you would do naturally if you were playing in tournaments.
What I liked was what Mason was saying last week about in the store. He was saying that they work really well for doing a pre-release event, opening them up, and then playing together, kind of like an even playing field, like all playing with the same deck from those boxes. Like, that sounds like fun. It feels like you're not like intimidated by other people's decks or other people's tactics or trainers or whatever it is they've got going on. Like everyone is just like fair game, and that I think that is an appeal for me. But in terms of like what you were talking about with the investing side, like I don't invest in those. Like I'm not buying that stuff thinking that I'm gonna make money in the future. Like it just isn't, especially not flip wise, it's just I mean, you said yourself, like there just isn't the money there currently.
Yeah, and if they do go up slowly, and like I see Rattle saying in the comments here, the biggest thing is too is that as as they do, some of the pre-release promos do well. Stamp promos are a exclusive item, but
Mhm.
once again, some of them are great hits and some of them aren't. And if you look at it, the battle kits that are doing well have a chased after promo card inside of them. Currently, even I was just looking ahead at Astral Radiance, and none of those promo cards I feel are going to be big chase cards. They're all just kind of unknown Pokemon. I thought maybe Brilliant Stars had a chance with the Moltres card. There was a Moltres pre-release promo inside of there that I thought might be better because, of course, it's a legendary bird with the stamp promo. But so far, it's early too. It's early to tell on Brilliant Stars because it just got released. We're not going to know really on those built in battle kits if we're going to see that Moltres really do extremely well, or if the box will start to go up. Because there's still, you could go right now. I can go to my LGS and they still have, two boxes worth of them sitting there. So it's not like they're short demand yet. So as they start to disappear, I think we'll see where it goes.
I think for me, I do definitely like think it's bad short term flip stonks. Like they're trying to make money right now with them, but I do wonder with most stuff that isn't successful right at release. Like you're talking about Astral Radiance, Battlestar Shimmerine, like some of those things, like maybe people aren't holding on to them and keeping them. So in the long term, they may be a little bit more rarer in terms of a sealed product, not so much what's in it, but just the sealed collectors. Like I do think there could be an element of people just aren't buying or selling them. There just isn't as much out there, or they ripped them to get the stuff out. I don't know. Like I'm thinking about Evolving Skies right now, and like some of the Pokemon center boxes, the ETBs and stuff. I feel
Mhm.
like they must be much less opened than other products. Like people must be holding on to them, thinking that that's good long term play, which I agree. I think is, but I think it's things sealed are only better if other people are opening them. And I don't think some of those types of products, not all of them are getting ripped as much. So I think there's influence in that. I don't know what your thoughts on there in terms of like volume and sealed and long term, short term. That's how.
Well, and compared once again, I like Rattle being in the chat here. He's bringing up some good points to him, and he's absolutely right. The pre-release promos out of those kits do better than, of course, the blister packs and the 3-pack blisters. But once again, like you're talking about there being less produced than those 3-pack blisters. Because how many 3-pack blisters get sent out? Every store I know of, even these small stores around us, get 5 or 6 boxes of those
Yeah.
through the release period. And the what I call the checkout size blisters are just everywhere. I mean, every store gets hundreds of thousands of them things. So yes, the pre-release promo boxes, those promos do typically do well compared to the other promos inside of the set. Number one, they're more exclusive. There is less of a printed once, like the checkout blisters and 3-pack blisters. They're printed multiple times throughout the you know set release and through rotation. And number two, they are stamped. And as we've seen in Pokemon in general, stamped cards typically do a little better over time.
Yeah. Well, I know another aspect of it, Pokemon DNA was saying with the stamp cards, essentially the same card except with the stamp. I mean, for me, the print volume of those is obviously considerably lower than the actual like pre-release model. it's buy. As far as I'm concerned, if you can get it at a decent price, like absolutely no reason I wouldn't offer and try and purchase some of those staff cards. I love them. I don't even think it matters what it is, honestly, in staff cards. For me, it's about just the fact that it's a staff card and it's got that stamp and someone completing a full staff collection. It's not about the collecting the actual Pokemon that's on it or the train or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing is too, is that once again, for every kit of built-in battle bot or every built-in battle kit that's sent with a booster box, and of course the pre-release kits, there's one staff promo inside of there. And once again, you're taking that and narrowing it even further down. And what's really hard to do is getting a high graded one, like a PSA 10 or a 9 in some of them cards. Is extremely difficult because, as we've seen, they don't really put them anywhere to protect them. They just kind of throw them on top of the energy box inside of there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, even back when we used to do pre-release tournaments, back in Sun and Moon, late Cosmic Eclipse, I went to the pre-release. And, one thing we noticed is that out and there was a staff promo card inside there and it was all scratched up. Because in shipping, it sat there and just rubbed on the actual box that it came in. And so, like you said, that's what happens to a lot of them is that trying to get a PSA 10 on top of it narrows it down even further, which is why PSA 10 staff cards typically go for a really large amount of money, especially Sun and Moon and back. Some of them are running $1,000 for some of those PSA 10 staff cards. I mean, even the Charizard from Vivid Voltage, the last time I looked, and it was about 2-3 months ago, that staff promo card for Charizard was going for about $860 for a PSA 10.
And what's that? A year and a half ish?
Oh, yeah, about that. Because I think Vivid Voltage released in November of 2020.
It's the end of the year, so we're coming up to not even a year and a half. Yeah, I mean it's
getting close.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's interesting talking about that kind of stuff. There is such a diverse selection of products, obviously, out there. Different aspects of stamps and promos and this and that. There's a lot of people that are going heavy on the Greninja from Celebrations. There's ETB promos. There's people diving into all sorts of aspects right now with Modern. Despite there being large print qualities, I think people are confident that the demand is going to keep going or increase. I mean, we're nowhere near sports cards. I know we've touched on that before. Like we're absolutely nowhere anywhere near sport card right now. There's still so much more room for growth. But I think a big part of that is the cyclical aspect of bringing in the new people to it from their childhood, bringing in people that are going to continue doing stuff year after year, not get bored, not get over and sell out their collection or whatever.
Oh yeah.
God, we got cool people in this chat.
It was kind of interesting because I was talking to one of my friends. He's a huge Magic player.
Oh yeah.
And he's always been a big Magic player and collector. And he was saying, he said that he was talking to one of their distributors and to one of the guys at Wizards of the Coast that actually, printed Magic. And he said the average lifespan for anybody in a TCG is approximately 2 years. So whether they're playing, collecting, or actually involved, they said for sure playing, it's about 2 years. And for actually being involved completely, 2.5 is pretty much the average. So it's really going to be interesting to see in 2 years how many people that are here now will still be here. I mean, you look at how many YouTube channels started up right at that December, November time, and how many of them have just slowly disappeared. I've seen so many channels that I started with and was working with, they just quit. They all kind of just slowly disappear.
Do you think there's an age part to that or no?
I don't know. I think one thing with YouTube channels, just as anybody here, anybody that's got a YouTube channel will tell you, content is really difficult sometimes the longer you do it. Trying to put a new spin on your content or come up with that next idea that's going to draw people into your channel becomes more and more difficult because you don't want to repeat yourself too many times. Yeah, I think that sometimes you could bring some of the content back, and redo it, because even yourself, as you're new, you get better. But I think that's part of it is that, a lot of them that we lost were opening channels. And I think just like myself, you learn pretty quick that unless you become really entertaining or you start opening vintage booster boxes, you're not going to be able to draw the crowds to actually build a channel very quickly. And you and I kind of talked about that when you were first starting out and when you were asking me questions. And I'm
still starting out.
But you got a channel. You've started. And I mean, you've actually had some really good growth. I mean, you're doing extremely well.
Thank you.
And you got some good connections. You're in with some good people that are helping you and working along. And that's something I never did. Of course, I'm stubborn and I tried to do it all on my own for the longest time. And the other part of it is too, is that people like data. I've told you, the longer I've been doing this, the more that I realize that if you can give people informational data that they can use, because there's a lot of data in the Pokemon world. There's a lot of data floating around. Understand that data, they will be a lot more likely to follow you. And that's the hardest part.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I definitely agree that that's a big part of it. For me, I'm just trying to be, I don't have any like intention, I guess. I'm just trying to enjoy it. I'm not worried about like being anything. I'm just trying to like enjoy it and be myself. I've just got cool people around, just like people like yourself. We've got Rattling chat, Pokemon DNA. I can see Felipe is there. Josh, the Green Shares, like Thrift is there. There's like all these amazing people. And I'm just like, this is like what I want to do. I just want to enjoy it. Derek just joined. Like, just cool people. It's just awesome. I love it. But yeah, circling back to what you were kind of just touching on then with burning out. So I don't know if you listened to PK's Pokemon Knowledge's video with Radar. Radar, I didn't expect him to say this. I was like, what? Like, I didn't get this, but he was saying about him feeling a little burnt out, and he was kind of taking a break because it was like I kind of like had every conversation. Like I talked about everything I want to talk about, and like I wasn't really surprised or I don't know, interested. Like I don't know what he was like trying to aim at by opening up about that, but it showed a lot of humility. It was very humble of him to say that. It definitely gained a lot of respect for him going into that. But yeah, I don't see that happening for myself because I'm just kind of like just playing around with it. I'm not good enough to do one thing. I guess I don't have enough focus. Like what you're talking about. You're talking about investment and flipping, and you're spending time analyzing numbers and what's happening and buying and selling. And I'm just kind of in it. I'm very low scale, so it's easy for me to like not have as much, I guess, turbulence with it or like much of a drop from the top. I mean, someone like Radar. I mean, when you're doing some of the biggest deals in the world, like the only way is down, surely, from that in terms of like the emotion and the roller coaster part of it. Like for me, right now, the only way is up. Like I'm going every time I talk with someone like yourself. We've had Mason here, peeked at you. Josh, he's in the chat right now. Amazing people joining. Basic, I'm hoping is going to join the chat soon. But just cool people on here, and for me, it's just up and up and up. It's fun.
Oh yeah, and then that's I did watch Radar, and Radar has done a lot already in the Pokemon TCG. Even
Right.
comparatively to myself. I mean, I've only been in for 3 years, but you sit there and listen to what, the things Radar has done just in his, what he was telling and what he's talking to PK was just absolutely insane. That's where you almost dream of getting to at some point, especially when you're someone my size. A lot of people don't know I live in the middle of nowhere. I mean, honestly, I live in the middle of nowhere in northern Wisconsin. If you ever put in Hayward, Wisconsin and see what's around me, it's really nothing. But I enjoy the hobby. I always have. I've always been fortunate enough to be around things with it. But, the biggest thing that I always say was a problem is some of them people stayed connected. Even when they kind of left, they stayed semi connected to it. And like I've said through a lot of the stuff, when I quit, I knew it was either I quit and walk away completely when I did, or I was never going to stay away from it. And at the point that I was in my life, there was just no way that I could afford to continue to do it, nor did I have the time to go do, the tournaments and going, because I used to go to Minneapolis all the time, tournaments. I used to go to Madison, do tournaments. Well, Claire always had tournaments. I have in my one storage bin, I got badges, all kinds of badges from the old Pokemon tournaments. If you
No
were
way.
back in the day, yeah, I mean, all of them still in plastic bags and stuff, but they're all ones I earned. I got them by doing it.
That's
And
awesome.
that's where it was fun. I did it with a bunch of friends. We all had fun. But when it got to be in 2006 and I had college out of it, that I would end up, you know, if I kept some of it other than just my playing cards, because I still got my binders with all my playing decks from when I was there. If I kept any sealed product, if I kept doing any of that stuff, I was going to be buying way too much money back into it again for what I was making at the time. So I pretty much just walked away. I kept talked to like 3 4 friends, and it makes me wonder if I would have stayed, in the circuit at least semi, who would I've gotten connected to over the years, especially around 2016 or 2014 when things were going on. Who would I have run into all these years if I would have continued to do what I was doing?
Who do you watch? Who you've been watching recently? Like what kind of content you've been? Have you had time? I know you've got going on with what you're doing already, but do you try to absorb content at the moment?
The big number one thing I've been watching is PK quite a bit. Um, been watching quite a bit. Just trying to think, because it's actually pretty much just easier to go to my YouTube and see my recents. Huh?
Yeah.
What happens is I put them on autoplay. I've got all these different content creators, and I mean, I bounce. Sometimes if I'm in a good mood, I'll listen to Pokerab just because I want to see packs be open, and it's fun just to, watch. But TCG Funhouse, been watching TCG Funhouse quite a bit. Pokenomics, I keep trying to keep up with his live chats and things like that. Pokemart USA, I do quite a bit. Been talking in his chats and been involved with him quite a bit and watching that. And I do watch PokeVault. I always enjoy his content. He has some really good insight on things. I know you love my video on that one, but
there's so many cool people in it right now, right? The really
oh, yeah.
the world's your oyster. It feels like at this point, this is the creme de la creme. It's like the highest point there's ever been for me for Pokemon content. It's just like all time high. Like every day, I'm literally excited to check who posted a video. I was watching your video earlier, and I was like, fun just listening to you just talk about products, like in different things, your opinion, and stuff. Mason knows where it's at.
And now I was gonna watch. I don't know. I was watching. Just going through my subscriber feed right before I came on here, and I saw that Pokemart just put up a new video an hour ago. I don't know if you've seen that one yet. I was gonna. I haven't got a chance to watch, but I'm really curious now, just to prove if this is true. I want to see what he has to say actually in the video. If it's true what he has in his title, it proves that Pokemon Center can literally do anything they want at any time. And the title is One Massive Pokemon Card News. Evolving Skies and Pokemon Center Celebrations ETBs reprints confirmed. With a question, with an exclamation and a question mark. So I saw that code.
I did not see that. Northwoods TCG exclusive right here.
I don't say that. It's Pokemart's exclusive if it's there. I just, like I said, I just saw the title and I went, sure, no more Pokemon exclusive ETBs, and all of a sudden, or for celebrations, we're taking them down February 26th, and no more after that. And poof. So, and like Brattle just said, could be clickbait. I'm not 100% sure. That's the problem is, unless you actually go in and watch the video, it, you know, you gotta get something to draw people's attention. And it's clickbait, so it'd be kind of interesting to see if that's what it's going to be.
No idea. I didn't see that. That is an interesting one, but I can tell you, it gets people excited seeing those things and reading those things and those thumbnails. There's a reason some of those YouTubers have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Yeah. You know, they get that energy going, but we don't need that, guys. Right? We're just having fun.
Just I mean, you know, Pokemart usually doesn't throw out something that completely crazy. It's just, I know he likes to put the question mark or exclamation next to it, so it'd be kind of interesting. Like I said, I haven't sat down a video, so
Basic said it's happening live tomorrow. It's trying to steal my friend. Basic, you want to come on? Should we get him on? Oh my gosh.
He's just gonna. I'm just gonna all of a sudden get an invite to another live. Yes, let's do this live. Let's go for a live finale. Just go 24 hours. See if I can find enough people to just go 24 hours straight.
No way. That's a fantastic idea. What do they call it? A subathon?
No.
We'll do a Charizard-a-thon.
A Charizard-a-thon. Yeah, there we go. We're going to open Brilliant Stars until we hit every Charizard in it.
Basic is overthinking it. He said, no, I'm good, Oak. I've had a bit too many to go on. This is like my 6th beer, Basic. Like, come on. Like, Basic 300 beer. Rattle, what are you drinking? Rattle shakes it up. He's got some crazy beers going on. Am I distracting you from your shipping? I know you said you were shipping stuff. I'm sorry if I'm.
No, you're fine. I get distracted easily. I'm half squirrel.
Well, yeah, same. I got an armadillo that keeps digging little holes in my yard. I think they look for like worms or something right now. So I'm like, I can't wait to like find him. I'm gonna try and take a selfie with him.
You should send him here. He can't dig in the ground. It's still frozen.
Oh my gosh.
We just got 3 days of under freezing again, so now the ground's frozen. It's like, oh,
is it really that cold?
Yeah, the high today was only 31.
Oh my gosh! I just ate dinner on my patio. It's that warm outside. It's a t-shirt.
Yeah, it's 29 degrees right now.
That's rough. We need
She's a bit chilly.
We need to get you an escape rope. That's what you need.
I lived in Colorado. I can't do heat. I'll take cold all day long.
Yeah, you said you've been in Florida before and you felt it, right?
Yep. Well, I lived in Colorado for 6 years, so I couldn't stand the heat there either. Freaking 100-degree days. No thanks.
Yeah, it's rough.
I can put layers on. It's illegal to take any more off.
I keep coughing. Sorry.
Colorado ain't cold, Swami. Colorado's hot. No. Wisconsin's cold. Colorado is not.
I love it. Everybody, put in the chat right now which state or country or continent you're from. I know we've got a few of them bloody foreigners, but us Americans, let us know which state you're from. I'm intrigued. Okay, so we've got Felipe and Rattling.
Yeah, Felipe knows it.
Tennessee. Oh my gosh. Poké, I was just near you. Liverpool. Oh my god, hang on. This guy. The OG Liverpool is my soccer team. You'll never walk alone.
Got to turn it the other way. I can't read mirror image.
Is it? That's turned the other way. What about that?
Oh, looked right. Okay.
Or is it that way? More. I don't know which way it is now. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, Thrift is right there with me. Basics from Wisconsin, to Texas, Dakota, dang cold. Hershey, PA. Derek's in Hershey. Derek, have you been to the Hershey Park and swam in the chocolate? I'm very curious. Apparently that's a thing. Yeah, you'll never walk alone. She knows it. See that Gengar creeping in your background? He's watching us.
Watching from around my John Deere.
I love it. Rattle. That's. You sound just like someone's from a cold area. Please. You guys,
What's that?
you guys are killing me. Rattle just is agreeing with you that like the hot is worse than the cold. He's backing you up, and you guys are crazy.
I hate hot. I absolutely, like I said, I think born and raised in the middle of the cold, going hot, just I can't adjust to it.
So hot sucks. I won't disagree, but in 2/3 of the year in Florida, it's warm. When everyone else is freezing, we're warm, and then it's hot during the summer. So we may have warped Pokemon cards from the humidity, but if you buy and sell in the winter, you're safe.
Yeah. Well, that's we've got to be careful of here because we do get really humid. So that's the catch-22 is that the humidity with cards, we have to keep them inside. Because, you always hear people say we just keep them in storage units. And we can't keep them in storage units because the humidity would just kill them things. Because we'll still get, because we have lakes all the way around us. We have a lot of swamps and lakes where we live here. And the humidity will go all the way up to 90% for weeks on end. And I've done that, kept cards inside a storage unit, just my like base or my commons and uncommons in a little box.
Yeah.
Take them out and they're all just it's like nope.
Oh my god.
Good thing those weren't expensive. You'd be in trouble.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I can't imagine doing that here. It would be an absolute mess. Like,
oh yeah,
anything I've ever left outside before humidity, it's got sun bleached. Like things literally change color when you leave them outside here. It was so close to the equator. It was so much closer to the sun than most of the other places.
It takes quite a while for stuff to sun bleach here. I can tell you that. It's a lot slower of a process.
Santa Mason bulks Swami.
What's that?
These guys kill me. Why do we have like
Sends the Mason? I should go get those ones. Here you go, Mason. Here's 500 bulk and ship them to him.
Oh my God.
And then I'll put on there Professor Oak on it and send it to him.
We have the best people in these chats. I swear. This is so fun. Oh my God.
You're a basic trainer.
What did you say you were drinking? You say you had a vodka mix?
It's just a vodka lemonade. It's nothing.
Vodka lemonade.
Nothing crazy.
I used to in my past life I ran a bar and a nightclub, and I used to. Do you remember the movie Cocktail with what's his name? The short guy from Top Gun.
Short guy.
The main guy
Tom
in Top
Cruise
Gun.
or?
Tom Cruise. With Tom Cruise in Cocktail when he's throwing the bottles and the glasses around. I can do that. It's called flaring. And we used to make all different cocktails, and yeah, that was fun. Different world. Pokemon DNA knows where it's at. Yeah, Tom Cruise. I used to do all that on the bars. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was a blast. Basic.
Basic.
It's killing me.
Basic, you can go. I'll give you my wife's cell phone number and you can call her and tell her I'm doing another live and see how well that goes for you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna steal Basic. I do actually. I think I have another live planned for tomorrow.
You do?
Yeah. Ooh, special reveal. And actually, you guys in the chat are gonna want to get excited for this. Next Friday, I am recording a very exciting video with the one that is not a Pokemon YouTuber, my first person outside of Pokemon that I'm going to be meeting with. It's going to be a very fun, someone that I didn't think would be interested to talk at all, and I got an instant reply, so I was very excited about that.
That'll be kind of interesting. What time are you doing that one?
We're recording next Friday evening, so I'll likely just post it right after. I don't
Sweet.
know. Not collectibles guru, but good guess.
Not close.
That way, I don't know how well that would go down for the channel.
How to go down in flames and riding her out. Yeah. Rattle's like, yes, please.
That, I mean, yeah, it would certainly draw attention in some way, I'm sure. Basic's feeling saucy. Basic, you're not feeling saucy till you've done the tequila. I don't think it's quite there yet. I believe in you, Basic. You've got the power. Wait, Rattle, have you actually tried? I want to know. I want to know if that's going to happen, because that would be wildfire. It would genuinely be fun. But yeah, I do have someone that is pretty cool. I don't know if I'm not going to say. I'm too excited about it to reveal. Oh my God, Rattle is going to ask him. Okay, that's very exciting. Dude, that would be crazy. You have to have Rattle's video.
What are we collecting?
It would. Stop, get some help. What are you guys collecting right now? Huh. I oh my gosh, it's a bit of a sore subject. I feel like this is a bit of a, like, you guys are maybe gonna be like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? But Pikachu's. every Pikachu in existence, just like literally everything there is.
You're gonna send them out and get them graded?
If it happens in tree where I don't have to pay $50 a card, maybe a bit more of a realistic price point for these. Yeah, most of these are 7s, 8s, 9s. I mean, I don't know how many 10s are here. They're actually worth anything really. It's more just like stuff for me. It's just everything though. This was a cool one I just got a couple of days ago. Pokemon DNA. Just said EX Sandstorm. Is that what you just said, Pokemon DNA? Yeah, a little bit of everything. This Platinum is a cool one. It's my first Platinum one. I don't know
Yeah,
how
it's a nice
clear
one.
that is. Is that a little clear, or is it?
Yeah, it was a little foggy at first. When he backed up a little bit, it was better. Um, yeah, my son would be really excited to see all them Pikachu's. He is dead set on swiping every Pikachu out of every set.
They're all different. Like
No,
that is
there's a ton.
a lot of Pikachu's. I should probably do a
Oh,
video on that, right? That's like kind of like a lot of cards. Yeah, I'm sure some people would like it. What about you? What have you been jumping into?
I have actually just been starting to purchase some of the vintage, like Watsy. I will just purchased the PSA or CGC 9.5 Flareon. So I've been going a little bit back towards my nostalgic stuff with Flareon, going back for some of the other evolutions too. So I've just been going backwards a little bit on that kind of stuff, trying to get back because Flareon's my favorite Pokemon. So I've been trying to. My kind of goal is eventually to have the full set, like all of the Flareons through the pass, and have them all graded. Be a process. It's going to take quite a few years, but I figured if I
Yeah.
start back at the older ones and just kind of keep working my way forward, then I should be in pretty good shape.
What are you thinking for those? I forget what box was called. They just had is it the special
The VMAX boxes?
VMAX box? Yeah. Like they looked really nice. The Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, and then they're doing the other variant with there's a Leafeon and Glaceon, was it?
Well, those were completely different. So there is the VMAX boxes, which are of course the OG, the Vaporeon, Flareon, and Jolteon.
Yeah.
But those boxes were the VMAX. They had the lost alternate arts that weren't in Evolving Skies.
Right.
So they had the alternate arts inside of there, had the jumbo, but then the box itself was I had that on the channel actually when they first came out. They are an awesome box. I will say I actually really do and did enjoy those boxes when I had them out. Because I wanted to keep them safe for right now until I have something a little bit better than my, corner here to be able to put them up and display them. But yeah, them boxes are really, really nice. I think that they're going to be really good. They did something similar to that with the GX era ones. They have a GX kind of set up too. They didn't do as well, but I think these ones will actually do a lot better because number one, it's alternate art. Number two, the box design is just that much better.
Yeah, they look classy.
Yep. But the Leafeon and the Glaceon box were just standard V boxes. They weren't really, so they were just like your Urshifu V boxes or your Calyrex V boxes. So they really just had the single promo, the jumbo promo, and then, the 4-packs inside of them.
If they doing tins with the other ones, because I know we just had is it? I've got them somewhere. The Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon tins, and then I saw something. Was it PCTGO was talking about a little while back, talking about Leafeon and Glaceon and that doing a one of those little tin things.
But they came in, I believe late last year they did the Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon tins. I actually got them back in the corner. I ain't gonna be able to get them out without destroying half my room. But they have those three, and then now they were doing, I believe it was I'm trying to remember if it was Espeon. I remember which ones they were doing. I don't know if they were doing Glaceon and Leafeon. I think they were doing Espeon, Umbreon, and what's the other one? Sylveon. I think they were doing those. Those 3 tins are coming out next, I believe. Don't quote me on it's one. There are 3 more tins that are going to be released that are Aldos. Of one, those ones. But I think because they did the V boxes of Glaceon and Leafeon, I think they were doing the other 3 in the tins.
Did you crack any open?
What's that? The tins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually crack tins open. I just want the promo.
Mine were terrible. In terrible shape.
The
like
promos?
even in that,
yeah.
the paper, there's like the black paper cardboard thing. Even when they changed it to that, like, like terrible shape. I wasn't happy. I was really hoping that they were going to be in a good spot, but
Yeah, none of them were great shape, but I do try and collect all the promos. I'm trying to collect all the promos from Sword and Shield too. So in order to finish my collection, I had to open the tins up. I mean, I could technically say I had them, but I wasn't. They're never going to get graded, but that's just my brain telling me I want to collect every promo. So
yeah.
far, I'm actually up to date with every promo in Sword and Shield.
Wow.
So now, well, I'll be behind when Arceus box comes out and things like that. But
For a minute.
so yeah, I did
How
correct those
how
tins.
many?
What's that?
How many is there total now?
I can't remember. We're getting close to 200. We might be just crossing 200.
No.
Trying to remember. Trying to think if I had something close that was latest. But I think
200 promos for Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Did you see that video I did on last year's set numbers? If you wanted to collect one of everything, it was like 1,800 cards for 2021 to collect. I was gobsmacked. Like I literally had no idea what I was going to find out when I started pulling them, but that to me is just insane. Like 1,800 cards just in 2021 sets. Insane.
Yeah. Well, just for example, I've got the tag team, the Charizard and Brexit, and this is from Sun and Moon.
That's cute.
And this is promo number 230.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah,
there's a lot of promos that come out. I mean,
Swami said no more reverses. Okay. There's still 7,000 Swami.
Yeah, if you were to get rid of reverses, it would be a big help.
Do people collecting the reverses? Like, is that a thing? I feel like that's just like it's just one or the other, right? I don't collect the original like common or whatever plus the reverse. I don't collect. I shoot for both. It's like this. I either get that card in common or I get it in reverse. Like
I collect both. My master sets are both common if it's got a reverse, common, and a hollow.
Yeah, there you go. Not removing those numbers.
50, I mean, I would just personally, the reverses don't do it for me. I mean, I just don't see any purpose to them. They don't really, if Pokemon were to make it so a common had one ability, a reverse had something better, like an extra ability or a different move or something. And I know it'd be really difficult. A hollow would have one more step up. Everything would be better if you had that. But realistically, like we've even talked about, you look at the alternate arts. Now, if I'm building a deck like my battle decks, I don't have any alternate arts in my battle deck. I'm not so much I'm not one of them guys that wants a flashy deck. So if I pull just the standard VMAX or the V, I can play those. So what's the point of an alternate art except for a collector that wants that different card?
Same card.
It's the same card. It's just a different artwork on it, but it doesn't give you any better playability. It doesn't give you any of that, even going from a full art or from a regular V to a full art. The moves are exactly the same. It's just the art changes on them. So once again, is there really an advantage to, as a player, what's the advantages or what's the point of having these tiers all the way through? Once you get past V or VMAX, the standard ones, it's really just for the flashy, if you want a flashy deck. Yeah. Or it's for the collectors out there that are looking for these collectors.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's whatever. Like for collect, I don't think it's a big thing. Sorry, for players. I think for collectors, they build in every variation of everything, just having one of everything. And that's why I tried to loop in everything in those numbers. I tried to pull in every aspect of reverse and promo secrets, like everything connected to that set. Because if you really are collecting that set and you want the master set of it, you have to have everything. Despite being binder, despite grading, despite whatever, like mentality wise, you could get everything. Because when you're pulling those packs to pull the regulars, you're going to pull reverses, and then you're not going to want to put them in a separate place or throw them or sell them. Like, you're going to want to add them into the set you're trying to build. So yeah, I mean, like you said, you collect both. It's tricky.
To me personally, a master set is every card in the set.
Yeah.
And reverses are just as important as the commons if you're going with that mentality. I mean, problem is I used to make master sets.
Would you miss them if got rid of them though?
Not at all.
Me either.
They wouldn't make a bit of difference to me if they were gone.
Yeah,
like you said,
I don't know their intention. I don't know what their goal is with it. And I mean, obviously adding a little bit of like mini excitement, I guess, but no one's chasing reverses.
Some people like the reverses because it adds flair to their deck. I mean, it makes all the cards, if you actually look at all your cards, you've got everything from a VMAX to a V to reverses. You could have the whole deck all shiny. So if you lay it out, except for the energies, if you go Japanese energies, and you can even get shiny energies. So you could literally make a whole holographic or shiny deck if you wanted to with the reverses. Personally, I'm more of the tactical. I just want my cards to have the techniques or have the moves that I'm looking for. Yeah. I'm not necessarily looking at that bling or flash, because when I was playing, the only thing that had flashes were hollows or, gold stars or shiny Pokemon. Otherwise, all the rest of my playing cards, trainers and all that, were all just cards. They didn't have a purpose.
I would have lost my mind if I would have saw a reverse in base set or rocket or something back in the day. That would have been like incredible. But now they just feel like every other fish in the sea to me. Like, I don't get excited when I get a reverse. It just feels like every other card. So,
and if you look at the original reverses that I actually do, if you were to go back to like where the original reverses came in WotC, when there was a reverse slot, but they were always reverse rares. So they were always a different art, even some of the reverses. And that was kind of a little bit better. But when you just take the commons and uncommons, why on a common are we putting reverse? If you were even make them all reverse rares again, I guess I could be behind that. But just to put them on every single card, why? Why are we putting these on every common, uncommon, all the way through?
Yeah, it felt when I was looking at those numbers, I'm pulling them right now because I can't remember the exact number. I'm pulling it back up, but it felt a little like overboard. I don't know what the phrase would be. Fusion Strike reverses 217 reverses in Fusion Strike. Like, really? Did we really to make those like 217 reverse versions? It just seems so extreme. Fusion Strike, the set total had as 516 cards.
You need 2 binders.
Like, I can't remember being a kid. I mean, I talked about it. I know I'm like going over it again, but I talked about it in the video. I just can't imagine being a kid trying to collect Fusion Strike. Different world.
Yeah, Derek, that's the one that was. I couldn't remember if it was Legendary Collections or if there was one before it. But Legendary Collections was the first one to do reverse rares. And those reverse rares,
beautiful though.
But they were completely different. And there's still nothing like them. They were only in Legendary Collections. And those reverse rares made a little bit more sense because they were completely different. They stood out, and even in Legendary Collections, Derek, do you remember? I can't remember off the top of my head. Did they put them on? They did not do commons and uncommons. They were only on the rares. So it was like a reverse rare Charizard and a hollow Charizard in that set.
Right.
I don't think that there was anything below the rares. Once again, I'd be okay with them on rares.
You weren't getting one in every pack that was a reverse rare in every pack. Like it's just not. Yeah, it's not the same. But they were like pretty special looking cards. They're pretty exciting in comparison.
Yeah. So there was one thing back here, Swami, and I've said this quite a few times. Pokemon needs to go back in the United States, needs to be like Japanese. Smaller sets, more defined, set identity. These hodgepodge sets of everything thrown together is just, to me, it takes away from open up these sets. I love to open and I love to do packs. And honestly, I've almost got the full. I wish I would have pulled that binder out. It would have been smart. The Shiny Star V. I've almost completed that set, which is funny because it only took me 10 boxes. I think I'm only like 7 cards short. So once again, I'm okay with opening 10 boxes. But if you've got to open, we've seen PokeRev, we've seen Danny Phantom talk about it. How many booster boxes they have to open to try and complete, like Chilling Reign. I think Danny Phantom had not completed Chilling Reign yet, and he had opened like 76 or 77 booster boxes. It's just crazy.
I have a hard time with it, honestly. I think Swami is onto something for people that are all a little more involved in it, that really are like Pokemon fanatics, in a sense, because I do think, like, let's be honest, people that are in it and just after the excitement of that one card or that 2 cards, sorry, I was trying to make a noise. They're after that lottery feel, whereas like people like you and I, or like Swami saying, with a smaller set, I would like a smaller set with a little bit more excitement in terms of like the realistic chances of actually getting the cards that I want, rather than hoping and praying that I would get the cards that I want.
And I've always wondered that too, even for the tournament players, now that I've started playing again a little bit more, I'm not like full time or doing it every day, but every few weekends I go and play. For me to get the cards I want on some of these things is just, if I want to pull my deck, because once again, I like to pull my cards that I'm going to be using. And the cost, like for example, Fusion Strike, I really wanted to get that Mew VMAX.
Yeah.
And I have not pulled it yet. I've opened 7 booster boxes of Fusion Strikes just playing around trying to get it.
Wow. Yeah.
It might be just my dumb luck on that VMAX. I'm not looking even for the alternate art. I haven't even seen the alternate art. I pulled the V alternate art twice now, and I've pulled a couple of the other alternates out of there. But the Celebi one, I pulled the Celebi alternate art twice now. But I have, I don't know, just my dumb luck probably. I can't pull the VMAX, the Mewtwo VMAX, or Mew VMAX. It's just crazy.
I was gobsmacked earlier on a Facebook group. I saw someone saying that they had completed the Celebrations collection, other than the one they were waiting on was the Clay doll. And I was like, this person's trolling, right? Like, this is like, this is a joke. Like, you've got every card except the Clay doll. And like they were saying in the comments, like, I believed them. They were saying like, yeah, like, I just haven't pulled it. Like, all the packs I've opened, like 100 packs, I just can't seem to pull this Clay doll. I think that's it. I think sometimes it is just down to luck. It's down to, distribution. I don't know how they figure that stuff out. I don't know how they decide what cards. None of us do. We never will know how they decide the cards, the packs, the randomization with it. But that's part of it, right? It's that excitement, chase, and trying to get it. And that would be reduced somewhat with a smaller set, but with a larger set, it's dramatically increased in terms of frustration too. There's a negative part that's increased with it.
Yeah. And see, this is where we were talking when I was with Pokemart. We're actually going to test this. This is going to be kind of fun. So when the new reprint comes of Brilliant Stars, we've got like 7 guys in different areas of the United States right now. We're all going to buy from our local LGS a booster box and open it. Because your clay doll, I've pulled that 7 times.
I've got
a pile of clay dolls. But that's like I laughed. I said it seems like a lot. You talk about, I was on here earlier, the Canadian God Box. Yep. How did one little area of Canada get all the God Boxes if these are randomly picked and shipped?
You tell me.
I have seen more regional pulls than anything else. So like Pokemart is over in Washington, and he's got Whimsicots, gold or rainbow Whimsicots, and another card. He's pulled them just out of every booster box. Here, I have not pulled a rainbow Whimsicott, but I have pulled gold or the rainbow Arceuses, and I have pulled the Kindler rainbow rare trainer, and I've pulled each one of those 4 times a piece. It's just interesting how it seems like when Pokemon, if you're in a certain area, you get more pulls of a certain type. At least what I've seen and from talking to people. And I don't know if there's any truth to that. So that's where Pokemart put on his live yesterday when we were sitting there talking. He's like, we've got like 6 guys on his Discord group. We're all going to sit there and go to our local LGS, buy a booster box, and we're going to open it. And we're going to compare who got what out of those booster boxes. If we can, we might do 2, grab 2 of them just to see what happens.
Do you think it's maybe like a batch thing? Like there's a batch of a certain type of set of cards sent out, like within packs, printing wise. I mean, obviously there's different sheets or whatever for different cards or whatever, but I just don't know how I would determine that. That's a tricky one.
Well, the way and Rattle's right, you'd have to do a stupid sample size in order to find it. Realistically, you'd almost have to open a pallet to be sure if this is happening. But if you were to sit there and go, and this is my theory, is if you look at the manufacturer, when they manufacture something, they typically go by orders. So they pull, they'll produce something, package it, and then ship it to that distributor. And they start labeling it as it comes off the line. It's not like they just put all these crates and pallets inside of a warehouse and then just randomly walk around and randomly stick tags on these things.
Yeah.
And when you make the sheets, and I've seen it even on the battle style, so I know that what they do is now the whole sheet is all the same character. So all the V's are all the same now. Because if you look at, there was a miscut on a bunch of the trainer, the mustard ones, whereas artwork was kind of cut into the next one where it was on the edges. And you could see if you pulled multiples, you could see that artwork. So you know that they were together. So if you sit there and look at it, that would make sense that if they were producing, they would just, as it came off the line, put the tags on there, and wherever that crate or pallet of them went for that distributor, they would get a grouping of the same card. Because I don't think their machines are as random as you think. They're just running all the same.
I can't even imagine that room. Like that huge warehouse and boxes or conveyors or whatever it is that's going on, like deciding what goes where and when. There's just so many cards. I mean, like you say with Fusion Strike, there's 516 cards. Like how do you randomize that? Like, there's just so much going on.
I mean, there would be almost impossible to randomize. I mean, I can understand how it would happen even regionally. As a manufacturer, working in manufacturing, I understand how it would get, just all put together. And there's just not much you can do about it, but that makes it so it is a trading card game. So we got to trade or buy cards from outside the area. And just so you guys know, I've been watching you guys with the Charizard chat. I have not pulled a Charizard, but I sent one to him. I have
Yeah.
ETBs so far and have not pulled a Charizard. I pick one random one out of my pile and send it away on a giveaway.
I was trying
And
not to.
that guy pulls the Charizard.
I did.
I have given away 4 Charizards and I have never pulled one myself.
Try not to
I
talk
have
about
given
it.
away a Darkness Ablaze Charizard. I have given away a Shining Fates Charizard, a Celebration, and now, and what else? No, I gave away 2 Darkness Ablaze ones. And on top of it, this I did my giveaway. I gave away another Charizard on my Brilliant Stars giveaway last Saturday.
Oh my god.
I'm just like handing Charizards out, but I can't get them for my own collection.
What's funny about that is, I mean, it's not funny. Like it sucks for most because it is hard to pull. Like that is a quite a difficult like pull in celebrations. There's quite a few graded. I saw some numbers, like there's people grading them, but in reality, like there isn't that many people I've seen pull it. And basically saying the 120 celebrations packs, like I opened a lot of boxes and packs, and then that was the first ETB that I opened, I think, with celebrations that you sent me. And yeah, boom. I mean, it felt a little cold going through, excuse me. And then later on, it was like, I don't know, one from the back or something. I forget. It was pretty late towards the end of the video of opening and hit that sword, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it would be the one that like I just spent all this money opening all these boxes of celebrations product, and then it's the one that I got for free. And like for you, it's like, of course, it's the one that you sent away like to someone for free. Like it's just like so ironic, and then you've not pulled it. Yeah, it's crazy.
I honestly have not pulled a Charizard out of any Sword and Shield set myself.
Way.
Not a single one. I have opened countless products from Shining Fates. God only knows how many Darkness. Well, I'm trying to think. I opened 3 or 4 booster boxes right away of Darkness Ablaze, and then it got too expensive. I haven't really gone back to that one.
That might be the only one that I've pulled. I'm trying to think right now what I've got going on here. If there's any Charizards in it.
I'm gonna go and mute for 1 second, Professor Oak. So she's gonna be all yours while I print.
Yeah, go for it. I when I was in Collecticon in Orlando, which Nick was there and Dan and Crystal and Palette, sorry. There's a few guys there. Chief Keen, I don't know if he's still in the chat. And Vanilla Ice was there performing, and he did like a crazy retro piece. But I've got this square cut Vanillux. I don't know if you can see it on this side. There's a square cut on both edges of this one. I was going to ask him to sign it, and yeah, I guess he was too busy. I couldn't grab him to sign it. And then this one, I got a whole bunch. That's my biggest pull from Brilliant Stars. Like I literally haven't had any hits from all the packs I've opened. And Aggron, like that's my highest point in Brilliant Stars is an Aggron. Not particularly exciting, I gotta tell you. Yeah, I don't know if I've pulled any Charizards. You've got me. I got so many cards waiting for grading, man. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I really hope they open up. Oh, you know what's cute is that one. the Japanese team up of Blastoise and Piplup. How many packs, Professor Rogue? Are you asking how many celebrations packs I opened? Mr.
Celebrations. I don't know where.
Mr. Mike.
See, I don't really count packs. A lot of times I'm on a budget. I just set a budget for the amount that I'm going to open on a set, and I just stick to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I opened.
So, but I got bored, and I opened up one of those knockout boxes I bought from Walgreens that has the Cosmic Eclipse.
Yep.
It was damaged, kind of crushed on the one side. So I said, well, I'm just going to open up a random pack of Cosmic Eclipse. And I pulled that out of it. Just
the same one. I love
it. The same one, just the English version. That's why I saw you put it up there. I'm like, yeah, that was a complete and total random rainbow pull, but I'll take it.
It's a cute one. I actually got that one from Pokevault, which I know you've talked about in video before. That was his first ever box break back when he had like, I don't even think there was $100. So we were in probably double digits. And that was like the pull that I got from his first box break. That it would be a second. I don't remember. I did his first 3 or 4 box breaks with him, and that was one of the cards. And I just thought it was cute. So it was a cute card. I thought it'd be cool to get graded. It's in pretty good shape, and yeah, interesting artwork. Like little Piplup just sitting there on the shoulder, and it's kind of like humbling for Blastoise, because normally it's like they're trying to make him look so scary and menacing and big, and like he's gonna like mess stuff up, and then he's just got a cute little Piplup sat on his shoulder, like a little parrot kind of thing. Like it's just such a cool little artwork.
As everybody's watching me, just slowly, I'm watching live, slowly put Evolving Skies booster boxes in the boxes to ship. Everybody's sitting there, wait.
Yeah, we've got some sales going through today.
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to get out of Evolving Skies quick before the reprint happens. We know it's inevitable. You know, some people think it might go to 180. Some people think it'll go higher yet. To me, it's just not worth the risk. You know, we bought them at $100, $104 dropped off at the door, and right now they're selling for 170. I made the profit margin I'm looking at on them. There's no point in being greedy about it and trying to get that extra 10, 20 bucks and miss the reprint game. Because if that reprint happens, you know it's going to dump down. It's just a matter of how fast it recovers after it does. It's just not worth, to me, it's not worth it. I can just go buy them again if I want them.
Vivid Voltage is a prime example, right? I mean, it's not doing anything exciting right now because of that reprint. It's quite an overnight tumble for that pricing on Vivid Voltage.
I felt bad for Vivid Voltage and kind of almost Darkness Ablaze and Shining Fates. They were really just a massacre of the time. The problem was there was so many new people out here in the community telling people to buy these products. You know, one other day I was talking to someone I was at my local LGS, and they were literally crying, pretty much almost crying about it, because they bought all this stock of Vivid Voltage. They had bought a whole case of Vivid Voltage from one of the local places in town, and they paid $195 a booster box in it at the time, back in when it first came out. And it was just like, now he's sitting there, and like you said, what is it, $126 a box right now? I think it's under 130. I know that. I just don't know how far down it is right now. I haven't really paid attention to it because now we're getting all the ETBs, so some of that stuff is also starting to slide down again just because of the ETB reprint coming.
I think ETBs are in 60s, low 60s, and they were up to 100.
They were up to 100. Well, look at Darkness Ablaze ETBs. That's another prime example. All these guys were sitting with $144, $140 ETB, and now they're selling for $45. I think you can even pick them up, $45 online, and if you can still find them at your local stores, they're still at my Walmart over here for $39.99 a piece. So there's a lot
Just
of
got
them
a
still
couple.
available.
Yeah, just got a
Yep.
couple this week at 39.99.
I picked up a couple of them just because I wanted to complete my ETB collection, but I think that they'll be good. I think they'll go back back up. I think it's just a little bit of time. Market's got to absorb all this, but the other problem is too is with this reprint of Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze is you're right between two bigger sets also that have got a lot of hype and people pushing for cards inside of them.
Do
You
you,
got
do you like Darkness Ablaze?
Do I like Darkness Ablaze? Not particularly. I don't think it's a great set. I think the only thing that's going to ever hold that set up is Charizard. So I think it's solid. I think it's because of that Charizard, it's going to be a solid set. It's the first that style VMAX card for Charizard, so it's this art style change in it also.
People say the same for Vivid, for Pikachu. It's about the Pikachu in that set. Like every set, someone has a reason of why that set's successful, but all in all, there's a game to play. There's a set to collect. There is always more to it. Darkness Ablaze just doesn't excite me. Like for me.
Mm-mm. And Darkness Ablaze Charizard is actually one of probably the easiest ones to pull because all you really got to do is go buy one of these, and there's two of them in it.
Boom.
There's two, or at least the original print. If you could find the original print date, if you bought a case, you would guarantee two Zards in it. And yeah, I'm with Felipe. I liked Vivid Voltage better. I think there was better, not just the Pikachu, of course, you got the chase for Pikachu, but overall, I think that the artwork was a little bit more exciting in it. Plus, there's some better trainers inside of Vivid Voltage. Darkness Ablaze had like the techno background, like the 70s full arts in them, which I wasn't a big fan of those full arts even inside of Darkness Ablaze, while Vivid Voltage kind of switched it up and went to like what we see now for the full art trainers.
Yeah, a little more modern looking.
Yeah.
I only opened for Vivid, I only opened blisters. I opened a bunch of blister packs because when I was trying to grab them, it was when obviously hype was a little crazy and it's just real difficult to get a hold of them. Like I just had a hard time getting a hold of anything. And I managed to get some blisters. I think my wife managed to grab some blisters for me from Target when she was there shopping, buying clothes and stuff. She managed to grab a few for me, and I'd have pulled nothing, like literally nothing out of all of them.
Well, I got Frisky the other day, and I bought two Shining Fates ETBs just for the heck of it. They were at GameStop when I was there, so I grabbed two of them because I had my $5 off for the month. So I figured I'll knock a little bit off anyways on it. So I took my $5 this month and bought two of those.
Nice.
And out of two ETBs, I pulled a Lapras, shiny Lapras V, and I pulled a Centiskorch V Max, shiny Centiskorch V Max. I did not pull a single baby shiny. Out of two ETBs, zero.
Did you pull two EVV Maxes?
Yes, I got those. They came in a little baggy. It was weird.
It's a consolation prize, I guess. Yeah.
But I was searching for the baby shinies. I said, hit the Charizard, great. That'd be fantastic. But I was, looking at the baby shinies too. I'm like, maybe I can snag a couple baby shinies out of this too. It'd be nice because I'm still missing like 43 baby shinies out of the 112 or 100. I think there's 102 or whatever it is. There's a ton of them.
120,
I know I counted the other
122. According
to
my
I thought
sheet.
that was the whole shiny vault.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the? Oh,
just
you're
the baby
talking
shinies.
the baby shinies.
Yeah. Because I have everything but the Charizard, and I'm missing the Grimmsnarl VMAX out of the big.
You got a bunch of them. You got a pretty big.
I've got all the big shinies, the full art shinies. I'm just missing a ton, like 40 some baby shinies right now. And I've been slowly kind of picking them up as I see them in lots and stuff, grabbing them, but been working on trying to complete that shiny vault.
Let's ask the chat I want to know what you guys have been buying, what you guys are collecting right now. It's a fun one. We've got some cool people in the chat tonight. This is awesome. It was a decent price. Yeah, there's so many of them. It's cool to get a whole box together though. Like you were saying, collect the full set. It's a fun little subset, whatever they call it, to collect. Yeah, Pac Menace, he's saying both underwhelming besides the chase cards and set. That's what I was saying with, obviously Charizard and Pikachu. It feels like that's like the main goal with those two, Darkness Blaze and Vivid Void. VMAX Climax lately. Yep. Yeah, you guys saw me open the battle region on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it was. That was a fun set. I donated it all to my wife's school, to her classroom. She teaches 3rd grade. And she said they went like crazy, went absolutely nuts. Tag team. Oh yeah, love tag team. Everybody loves tag team, but I don't know how many people actually buy it. Like how many people are actually into it. You guys buying tag team? Like are you guys actually like picking that stuff up?
Tag team they have some cool alt arts in it, but they're very expensive from what I've seen. Number one reason is with Sun and Moon, of course, on the backside of the craziness. But number two is because it was tag team, they actually canceled the last print run of it. So tag team has a very low volume. That's why a booster box currently of even tag team, I believe, is going almost $800. So it's one of the highest sets in Sun and Moon, but mainly because they canceled that last reprint, because that was a completely different time frame when Pokemon wasn't that popular and they were cutting things instead of actually running products. So
I didn't know that, but yeah, that makes sense with the pricing. People love it. People only speak highly of tag team. Like no one ever talks bad of tag team. They don't talk of it like they do with Steam Siege and Crimson, like those sets that we know that are crap. Like people love it, but I don't ever see people opening it. I don't ever see people talking about the cards they have or grading cards from tag team. Excuse me. I do think that's interesting. Buy them at PSA 10 and they're low pop. There you go.
Yeah, and they're gonna be low pop, just because of the low print rate on them. There isn't a lot of tag team out there, and that's going to be one of those that personally, it was one of those ones I was just talking to. What was I talking to? Pokemart, or I was talking to one of the other guys. Anyways, we were talking about this. That would actually be a really good set to, if you had some money and wanted to take a gamble on one of them sets that's going to do well long term. That one would be a very good one to grab a couple booster boxes, 2-3 booster box of it, and just put it away, because the low print on it, and now you got places like PokeRev and PokeVault and some other places have been talking about tag team. And if you watch, typically right after them guys start talking about a set, it starts to slowly wheel up, especially since PokeRev just opened one on his box trying to see if he could get his value out of it, but it was just showing that it was $800 for the box. And I've been watching, the prices have been slowly going up since he did that last week. So
he literally just talked about it last week.
It was I think it was last week or the end of the following week. He did open up a tag team box.
What's the chances of us talking about that? And he just did that last week. I didn't even know that. Look, I'm like sat here saying like no one ever talks about tag team. No one like never gives it any love, but obviously people do. Like I missed that. So yeah, my mistake. But I do see it creeping up. I don't think it will ever stop creeping up. Like you say, they didn't even do the last print run. There's no way they're going to print it again. I mean, it's way too far out now, and it's a fun set. People love it.
I think I might have misunderstood Pokemon. You might have been talking about just the tag team cards, not the tag team set. Looking at what he just said here, there are tag teams in Unified Minds and Broken Bonds. I thought he was actually talking about the set.
Yeah. I thought it meant the set too.
Yeah, no, that was my mistake. Pac Menace. I thought you were talking about the actual set, because the set itself, I don't know much about the set, to be honest with you. I haven't really looked into that one too much. I just know the price has been ridiculous on it. So it hasn't really been something I've been running at too much. But
I feel like
I know there's tag teams. I mean, because even Cosmic Eclipse, I just had the tag team, Blastoise flip up.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing essentially. Like those just in general, just those in tag team. That's the tag team cards is what we're talking about. Like, yeah, that is the cards that essentially that we're aiming at, with thinking that they're gonna do well. In my opinion, I think long term they're a really good play. And I don't often give those kinds of opinions and like advice and stuff, but like tag team, I do genuinely think that's a good smart play for the long term.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I think any of the tag team cards will do well over the in the future. Even as
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, did you have a chance to play around with CGC's pop report yet?
I just started, to be honest with you. This week's been just hectic, so I haven't had a good amount of time to really dig into it, but I did start kind of looking into it a little bit.
Haven't like you were just saying, like, a bit of a crazy week. My week's been insane, so I'm glad to like sit with you and have a beer right now, because kind of need that decompression. But yeah, I haven't. I saw it. I let Josh know. It was in a little bit earlier. The Green Shares. I let him know that the pop report came out, and he went and did a video real quick about it. Kind of a reaction video. I'm excited to see what comes from it. What comes from those numbers, and kind of seeing what they're at, what they're doing, what they're playing around at. Because from what I can tell from his first couple of videos, it's not like PSA 10s. I'll tell you that. Like, it's nowhere near.
And it was expected. We knew that there weren't going to be very many CGC 10s. We knew that was going to be a lot lower than what PSA is.
Yeah.
Because especially when you get down to the older cards, I kind of pulled open, some Charizard cards, some basic ones, and their PSA 10s were way down even compared to PSA. Now, there's a couple of reasons that you're going to be dealing with that. Number one, CGC gradings are so much harder to get a 10. That 10 or perfect 10 is, extremely difficult, or was extremely difficult. And the other part of it is that not a lot of people have used CGC comparatively to PSA. Even to this day, there's a ton of people I know that will not grade with CGC just because they will only grade with PSA. They will not move from that. They will not take a chance. Yeah. So it's just, and what's worrying me now about CGC, that they might get themselves caught the same way PSA did. Now people are saying they're giving out more 10s. It's easier to get a 10 through CGC. If that's the case, once again, you just threw your consistency out of the window, which is what, to me, drives me crazy about grading companies right now.
Yeah.
You cannot get consistency out of any of them. And until I see that, I really have a problem with graded cards in general. And it's just my personal bias, I guess, but I'm not a huge fan of any graded cards right now. Beckett is probably still one of my top end ones, just because they've still been consistent. But the second they're not consistent, I won't like that either.
I want to know that a CGC 10 is CGC 10 for me. You just talked about consistency then. Like, if I'm going to buy one of those cards, like, I need to know what it is. And I feel with PSA, it is a little bit more consistent. They have a bit of a stricter guideline. Yep, I definitely have cards that, like, I don't know why they're that grade, but I feel like everyone has those. And I've seen 8.5 CGCs, multiple, where I have no idea where it's not a 10. Like, considerably more than the amount of 9s that I wonder why they're not a PSA 10.
Yeah, and I mean, but my thing is, I even look at old PSA to new PSA. You used to be able to get a PSA 10 fairly easily 3 years ago. I mean, I remember guys that send in cards that were off center and they'd still get 10s on them. With whitening on them and they'd still get 10s on them.
Yeah.
And from my experience, to get that from CGC or Beckett is just pretty much unheard of. If you've got whitening, visible whitening on a corner or an edge, or you've got, off centering, that's, you can look at the card and see that it's off center, you're not getting a 10 through those companies. And now CGC tightened up their grading quite a bit in the last 2 years to make it more difficult to get that 10. But that's where we've talked about in other times. So does that mean if I have a Charizard from 5 years ago that I had graded, is it valued the same as one that was graded this year? And if you're looking online, that means every time I'm looking at a Charizard for PSA 10, if it's even a Shadowless, first edition, any of the older ones, you literally have to go and pull the serial number on it. And you have to know serial numbers, which I know I've got it written down, the series. So if you look at the beginning, you can know what year roughly they started changing it. But it still makes it so I can't just look at a Charizard picture online and go, that's a 10. Because if I were to look at it and get it, yeah, it's a 10, but it may not be as hard or strict of a 10. It's a lighter 10.
Not a CGC
which means,
10. Yeah.
Huh?
Not a CGC 10.
It's not a CGC 10 or a new PSA 10. This is an old PSA 10, which is technically nowadays going to be an 8 or a 9. So it really brings into question the value of those cards later on versus today's. But there again, now you're dealing with consistency, which is a huge problem.
Yeah, it's rough. I definitely, looking at the numbers of the overall population and then the current population changes, you can see from what's the PSA graded cards that they're definitely stricter. I think it was like a 20 something reduction in 10s. Like, it's a pretty clear distinction that it's either A, people are sending in lower grades, or B, PSA is getting stricter and making it more difficult to get a 10. Like, essentially the opposite of what CGC are now doing. But it could also be a combination of the two, I'm sure. But it is interesting to see CGC almost relax the guidelines as PSA steps up the guidelines, because I feel like it's harder to get a PSA 10 now, but easier to get CGC from the past couple of weeks, what I can tell. Pac-Man said he'll only purchase PSA 8.5 near mint, and he's a wild animal, or she. Pac-Man, I don't even know your gender. I assumed. I apologize for that. Shouldn't do that in 2022.
What's that?
I assumed Pac-Menace's gender.
Oh. Yeah, that might be a bad thing. Watch this, your subscriber count dropped by 1, you get a dislike, everything.
You know it. Yeah, I mean, 8.5s PSA and CGC to me are probably like more annoying than any of. Like, I'd rather have a 2. Like, honestly, I like hate the 8.5 situation going.
Yeah.
Basic wants to know where you're from.
I'm actually over in Hayward. I am actually dead center between Hayward and Ladies.
I have no idea, but it sounds cool. Cold. Cool. Yeah, Pac-Man. So that was a joke. So, but the thing, like, it really is an issue. The 8.5 thing, like, are you joking? But like, that really is a problem. Like, how many 8.5s are coming out when it's not a real grade? There shouldn't be any 0.5s at all. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult to determine between an 8 or 9.
And that's like I even talked about, you know, if you want to do, for example, I always said in the future, I see a slight market for like amazing rares. If you could send a bunch of amazing rares out to get graded when pricing comes down, got nowhere near doing it anywhere near right now. Well, let's say pricing goes down at like PSA. I hate the half grades because if I'm trying to set things up, so if I want to get a group of all the amazing rares in 10, in 9, in 8, and sell them as groups, as graded groups, I said that sucks because if you try and go to CGC, you'd have to send so many cards to try and line all of these things up that it'd just be absolutely ridiculous to pull it off. So that's where PSA kind of comes into being nice because you get that nice straight 10, 9, 8, 7 grade system and not this point system.
Yeah, and then obviously there's a couple of 8.5s, but no 9.5s. I think 9.5s are a whole other level of ridiculous. Like, is it good or not? Like, we just need to be a bit more logical about the situation with the grading. I think there's just a little bit too much like overthinking with some of the other companies' grading scales. Derek says buy GMA 9s.
Yeah. Or do like I do. I wanted a Mewtwo.
Which one's that?
So I got my lovely Mewtwo from Hidden Fates, just a regular full art from GMA.
What do you think that's worth compared to a PSA 10?
Oh, this ain't a PSA. Comparatively, this card on the market right now, last time I looked at when it was sold, was like $13.
GMA or PSA?
This is GMA.
What's PSA selling for in 10?
PSA. I haven't looked at PSA to be 100% honest with you. I don't know. I bought it because it was on one of those whatnot auctions.
Yeah,
I was just messing around, and nobody was bidding on it, and I like Mewtwo, so I got it for $3 with $2. So I got the card for $5. I like
that's crazy cheap.
A graded card, I can't even grade a card for display purposes like that for that price. And granted, the slab's a little scratched, and it it's a GMA, but it's nowhere near a PSA 10. I mean, the centering's off far enough that I would say it's definitely a 9 at the best at PSA. Funny thing is, the front centering's off worse than the back, which was pretty common on them GX cards. What I've seen, that actually happens quite a bit on GX. So, but like I said, it's for me. I don't care. It's just cool. I can set it up on the shelf and it stands and it's in a nice hard case and it shows off.
Yeah, and it costs nothing. It's pure organic fun.
Here's a fun Pikachu.
Oh, I love that one. I was bidding on 2 in the PWCC auction. I love it.
Did you?
Yeah.
What they end up going for in PWCC?
Past what I was willing to pay. It's going pretty high right now. They're going pretty high. And also the one which I'm trying to remember which illustrator it was, but the one where it's holding the flower and it's kind of turning backwards.
Oh yeah.
Gorgeous, absolutely beautiful artwork. But yeah, I mean, they're just going crazy high. So much demand for those.
Yeah, this one was actually my friend bought it. I'm just holding it for him, but I love the card. It's actually really beautiful. My friend bought this card. I don't remember what he paid for it. It was way too much in my opinion. More than I'd ever pay for it. I can tell you that. I know it was That's why I was curious what they were going for. I want to say it was somewhere around $200 or $250 for this card when he bought it when it first came out. He bought it graded when it first came out. And I want to say even then it was like close to 200.
Yeah, let's take a look. I think I've still got it in my. It's the current auction that I was bidding in. Let me take a look real quick. Oh, Ancient Mew just joined the chat. What is up?
Another victim for the chat.
I got all the superstars tonight. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Ancient Mew. You can watch me continue to put boxes together over here.
Why not? Why not? He is an Instagram crazy person with his amazing cards. Okay. Let's find this Pikachu. Because I freaking love it and other people love it too. You know something I learned this week? I don't know if you've heard of this. I was going through PWCC and I saw a card. I saw a card called Pikachu Quick Construction Pack. And it was the EX Emerald artwork from English set. And I've never heard of a quick construction pack with EX Emerald artwork in it before. I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
No, I've never heard of that. It's interesting though. It's amazing some of the cards I've seen come out that I had no idea even existed.
Well,
it's just
I should have predicted it was Japanese too.
Yeah, but I just mean it's still interesting how many, even I dig around a lot of Japanese just because I'm always watching those markets. I've got a little bit of Japanese stuff. I've been getting more and more into it because, like I said, I'm enjoying the more concise, smaller sets than I am in the English right now. But
it's fun.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that yet. It's just interesting because you go to PWCC and all of a sudden there's a card that you've never heard of or seen. And it just all of a sudden it's there and it's like, well, where did this come from? Yeah, and then you start doing research on it and you're just really confused at when did this card show up in existence?
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever heard of a quick construction pack.
Yeah, I mean they had the stamp sets. They've had a couple other things, but I've never heard of that one before. That's a new one.
Yeah, of course I can't find your Pikachu now. There's only like 1 million pages to go through too, so shouldn't take me more than a year or so to find it. So many red Pikachus running around. Guys, you guys got any chat questions you wanna shoot over to us? Anything you got for Mr. Northwoods TCG that you want to ask before we finish the evening out? Oh, I think I found it. Nope, not that one. Nope, I can't find it. It's been on eBay.
Heck, Menace, I have not looked into Astral Radiance all that much. I saw the alternate arts. They've got some really, I like a couple of the alternate arts. I think there's some good stuff potentially, but before Brilliant Stars, I made the commitment to myself that I would not dig into these sets very much anymore, just because I like to enjoy opening them and finding out for myself, whether it's through an ETB or something like that. And so I really won't look into it until probably a week or the week of release or within that time frame. And I actually had a lot of fun with Brilliant Stars because I didn't do it, and I'm just going to continue to do that.
Derek just confessed to being Rabid Squirrel. I knew it. I was onto you, Derek. I knew you had 2 accounts. He's in the same picture. My little detective work. Question to both. If you had to sell all Pokemon and keep 1 item, what would you keep? Ooh. Ooh, that's rough.
I hate that question.
Ooh. Oh, Josh, why did you do that to us? Oh, God, they're so different. So much variation going on. So many different emotions going through my head right now.
I
keep 1 item. I would keep here, why don't we do this? As soon as we've got the Rockstar chat, I would keep my Ancient Mew. There you go.
I'd keep my Mewtwo first edition. PSA 10.
Okay, you win.
Just because I'm a Mewtwo fan.
This guy is the Burger King's is a sealed Charizard Burger King Pokeball thing. I think that's a pretty cool. That was a gift from my boss last Christmas. I got a few cool gifts. I got a lot of gift stuff, like because people just like I like Pokemon, so people would just buy me cool Pokemon stuff. It makes me feel blessed for sure. Who asked another question? I saw another one. Ancient, I did not see the memes he made for you, but PK memes are always sublime. So please tell me how I can view those, because I would definitely like to watch those memes that they sent you. Basic said, have you been to the Dells? If you have thoughts on Giant Big the Blue Ox statue and thoughts on Metazoo, I have no idea what he's talking about, but I'm guessing you will because of the area.
Oh yeah, we go to the Dells quite a bit. It's one of the main places we all also do conventions all the time because of the Kalahari down there. So we end up going there quite a bit. Babe the Blue Ox, and of course, the statue there is Paul Bunyan statue. Lot of interesting history with that in this area. So if you ever heard of Paul Bunyan, that's where that reference comes from. It's Babe the Blue Ox and Paul Bunyan.
I did not know that.
It's a northern kind of Wisconsin, Minnesota, going into Michigan, UP area, kind of a folklore. If you ever look it up, there's a whole story behind it. You can always look it up. It's a folklore kid story and everything that was kind of built in this area. So that's how the in the South Dakota, how the Badlands was made. He was thinking and tapping his axe on the ground, so he made the Badlands.
Huh.
That's always one of the folklores.
Is he in Matazoo because of that?
Yeah, I think he's going to be in. I haven't looked into Wilderness yet, but I believe that there's the giant blue ox is going to be inside of Metazoo.
Okay, that's exciting.
So I was I was going to look at. I haven't had a chance to look at Wilderness, and I've been bad because I've been focusing on so many different things. It's been hard to really focus on other TCGs right now, just because live streams. I've been doing a lot more live streams, of course, which I do enjoy. I love talking to people on here and getting to know people, but Metazoo in general, I think Metazoo has got a chance. I'm still on the fence about it. I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with it, because if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have told you it's a speculation set only, just because it's never really became a tournament set. But I am still yet to see any local tournament play a MetaZoo. I'm hoping that we'll see some locally. I know the bigger cities are starting to get some, and they're starting to have some tournament play. But as of right now,
throwing some money at it too, right? Isn't it like a $25,000 prize pool or something crazy?
I don't know where the first edition box is from. God damn, I can't remember the name of the first one. Well, I'm drawing a blank all over. Nightfall is still sitting pretty decent. I think that's still around 250. Last time I looked was around $300 for first edition booster box. Nightfall, Cryptid Nation fell down to around 600, and I think it was going back up again. And don't quote me on the prices, guys. I haven't really sat down and looked at MetaZoo probably in about 2 months. I really haven't spent much time. I know the second edition of Cryptic Nation is out. It's kind of interesting that Cryptid Nation is the only one of the MetaZoo sets that they announced will be getting a second edition also. So there'll be a first edition, a second edition, and then there will be an unlimited print of Cryptid Nation. All the rest of them are doing first edition, unlimited. Cryptid Nation's getting the second edition. So there is the possibility. Well, there's going to be a limited print on that second edition version of the MetaZoo Cryptid Nation. So there is another opportunity to have a limited set. And then after that,
do you expect MetaZoo to continue? No, that sounds very blunt and
black. Do I expect MetaZoo to continue? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, I know that sounds really black and white question, but like, do you think it's going to carry on? I feel like there's nobody on the fence with it. There seems to be people that either like it or just have no interest.
I don't know. Like I said, I would really like to see some local tournament play, because even My Hero Academia now even has a night where they play that once every 2 weeks. And that was a set that, once again, has had little to no advertisement compared to MetaZoo. MetaZoo, the only thing I have against MetaZoo is that it came out when it came out, it was advertised to the rich and to the high end investing people.
Right.
So the first edition box went straight to the moon. And that's great. I mean, it's great to see those kind of sales when you're looking at a new TCG that you're seeing that. But on the backside of that, what is downside is that you're not getting it into the hands that build your base. Yeah. MetaZoo isn't like My Heroes Academia or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, where there's an anime base first coming in. So they've already got that outside source with the anime that draws in people. And then they built the tournament play. So even Pokemon, they built tournament players when it first came out. And you got to have like building steps to it. And MetaZoo, instead of going from an anime or having something there and having tournament players and a successful tournament built up before it went big, went right to the high end people, the high end investors, the speculators that were willing to spend $1,000 on a first edition booster box in MetaZoo. And it scares me. It just sends up, is this going to remain a speculating set? Will it get enough feet underneath its ground to start? And is it going to become a TCG? Or is it just going to be speculation cardboard that actually never really gets played? And that's where I'm kind of at. I want to see, like on our chat here, I mean, name one person that's actually playing MetaZoo. I can't name a single person personally that I know. I know there's some people online that play it, but personally, out of all the people I know playing TCGs in this area, I don't know anybody who's playing MetaZoo right now.
What I'm hearing from what you just said is MetaZoo's lacking branding, right? It doesn't have a show. It doesn't have a game. It doesn't have like anything to back up the emotional connection to the game. It's like something has to connect it from like the real world to want to play that game instead of just a game. Otherwise, it's just Monopoly. It's just a board game. It's just a card game. It is what it is. There has to be more built into it. I haven't seen enough of that effort from them yet on those outside things. There's no shows, no movies, there's no, like materials in terms of like hats or figurines or shirts, or like you need all those extra things. And Pokemon has everything you could ever imagine. There's a Pikachu on it. Literally, I've talked about this before, but like everything that you want. I mean, look at these shelves, like just ridiculous, stupid stuff. There's just Pikachu's on everything. Like I've just got a box of Band-Aids today. Where did I put it? I don't know. It's somewhere around there. It's got a box of Band-Aids with Pikachu on. And I'm like, Metazu isn't going that far. Like they're not putting that much effort. They don't have enough of brand recognition to like be successful at that stuff. But if that does succeed and they do that stuff, exponential growth. I mean, that $5,000, first edition books will be to the moon. I mean, that will be crazy money if that does take off. Once more people get involved and people see that it's serious, it could. But I can tell you, I'm not in on that roller coaster. I'm not in for the ride. I don't own any Mezzu.
No, and that's, second edition isn't bad. I don't have, $80 booster box isn't a bad purchase on a gamble. First edition to me just went absolutely crazy. I really, like I said, I could be completely wrong. It's just when I risk, once again, I've got my risk to reward analyzers on this. Right now, the risks are just too high because I even look at even TCGs that don't particularly have a anime or that outside, they focused on the gameplay. So you look at Flesh and Blood is another good example of a TCG that came out recently. I mean, it's not new, but it's I think it's 5 years now or 6 years. When it started, it focused on getting cards into players' hands. That was their focus, was to create a player base and get the tournaments and get the people involved into it. Because once money. People start, what's that?
Wasn't about money.
No, I mean it. Of course, they want to make money, but the point was for them is that they had to build a base of people, and then now look at it. Flesh and Blood is another one. It's becoming more and more investable as it goes on, and it acts a lot like Magic. And Magic has one investable set and 3 uninvestable sets, and then it has one, and then it has a couple that are not. And it's just kind of interesting how Magic works, but Flesh and Blood kind of follows the same trends. But once again, they have the tournament base, they have the growth underneath them, that if it were to continue to grow in popularity and become more played and more people got into the artwork and actually looked at it, you would see, that one would have a good root system underneath it to do it. And don't get me wrong, I love cryptids. I think cryptids is a cool concept. I really do. I think that there's so many. I mean, you could outnumber Pokemon probably 5-1 right now just on cryptids if you go all the way around the world with all the different ones. But when only the rich people really took off with Cryptid Nation, it's really difficult to know how does it play, how do people enjoy playing it, and will it be a playable TCG that people enjoy? If you can't get the tournament players out of it, you've lost the whole root system of it, and they need to establish those roots as soon as possible. And I have seen Cryptid Nation second edition in Walmart now. I've been seeing the little 4-pack blisters or boxes inside of there. But that's, once again, that's the only product I've seen. I thought when they were going to be going into Walmart and Target, we would be seeing a selection of products, whether it was the spell books or whether it was, some kind of boxes or, they've got one option and one option only, and there's 4 packs inside of it.
Yeah. I mean, Metazu is the guys touched it in the chat just then. Like, there's obviously good intentions behind it. There's a good concept. There's a good idea. There's interesting characters, and I don't know a whole lot about the playability other than what I've read on some cards. I haven't actually played it, but I think they need to take it to that next step. If they want to go to that next step, they need to take it there. Like, there needs to be more effort in other avenues, because I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone that's focusing on playing it. Like, and if we're talking about a playing card game, like, yeah, something's missing there.
Yeah.
Pac Menace. I am from Central England and now live in Florida, just to clarify. I saw your questions just there. And Ancient Mew, my stance on CGC is I collect and buy and grade with PSA. I just haven't had much like, excuse me, haven't had much contact with CGC really, because I've just used PSA. I mean, it's just like simple for me. I think CGC, I've seen enough videos where there hasn't been a whole lot of excitement about the grades coming back.
Yeah. And the thing is that PSA, for as long as I can tell, or as long as I can see, is going to be the top dog when it comes to grading. It was set in motion when Pokemon first came out that they were the grading company for Pokemon, and that is not going to change anytime soon. I mean, these other grading companies have got a lot of ground to catch up. And to me, the only way that they're going to have a chance at even becoming better than PSA and take a step above them is, number one, consistency. Be sure their consistency is the same from when they first day they graded it to today, to the whatever date you're at. The more you can have that, the better you're going to make yourself. And that's really the only way they're going to catch market share is consistency. CGC uses AI for part of their grading process,
right,
which is an advantage. And now PSA is going into that market. So once again, that market share starts to disappear in your advantage. The only thing that that PSA can lose market share to is if CGC remains consistent from here until forever. And then you would get the market share for the people like myself that want consistency over name.
So they have become inconsistent. So what's next? Like, what do the people that have 8.5s, if they regraded, would now be a 9 or a 9.5 or a 10 or whatever? Like, are they going to try and maximize on that, like CSG is doing with the $5 to bump up to a 10? Like, is it going to be a case of trying to get regrades in the door because submissions have slowed down because people are tired of not getting 10s? Like, I haven't even used them, and I have like a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth just because I've seen so many other people's videos of their situations with their grading with the CGC. I just have no desire to send anything to them from what I've seen from everyone else's videos.
Yeah, I mean, if your excitement is seeing that 10, and that's what really drives you, is to get that 10 on a majority of your cards, CGC and BGS are never going to be the places you need to go. And that's
I collect PSA 10 Pikachus.
What's that?
I mean, I collect PSA 10 Pikachus. I mean,
I know.
It's that simple. Like, that's what I'm into.
Yep. And if that's what you're into, and that's what your drive is to get that 10, and you're not concerned about consistency from the old stock to the new stock, if you're just interested in 10, PSA will always be a great place to go. Because you're right. Everybody remembers PSA, and a PSA 10 is the top dog just about in any collecting market. But even as we're seeing is, and a lot of times now, so a lot of PSA 10s are now getting overran by price wise or falling below CGC and BGS 10s just because, once again, there are inconsistencies in the past, and CGC may shoot themselves in the foot. Like you said, if they're trying to get people in the door that are chasing that 10 and that changes their business model, they'll make it so that people are no longer desiring them. So that's kind of on them for what they want to do. They want to get more people by giving them 10s, or do they want to stay consistent in the way that they process and do things and the way they look at it and make the people for the market share of consistency come in the door?
I don't know what the long-term plan is, but
I don't either.
It doesn't seem clear. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't feel confident. I don't know how many people feel confident in it, but Josh is saying that him and PK are going to invest big money. They're going to go hard on the 8.5. So
I've said the same thing. I mean, I wouldn't mind buying 8.59s from CGCs because they are under market value compared to a PSA. So if you buy a 9.5, CGC comparative to a 9 PSA, they're cheaper. But if you were to break them and regrade them, chances are is that and it's not 100%, but even if 50% of them came back as a 10 in PSA, it would push them that much higher in price. So there's a potential for some really undervalued CGC 9.5s and 9s sitting out there that would be PSA 10s, which would gain them a certain percentage, 20, 40% on value just by getting that, by breaking them out and sending them.
I don't think you'd lose if some of them hit 9s even. Honestly, when you're looking at the PSA against CGC prices. But having said that, I will admit I have seen CGC going for way more balanced pricing on some cards with PSA. They definitely have creeped up to like a more correlation, I guess you would say, with PSA cards. So I mean, I feel good for them on that part. Like, I'm confident that they have a back end. They have buys. They have people sending them cards to grade with them. They've said they're in 7 digits for the amount of cards they've graded. That's obviously a lot of, buy-in from the hobby, from the community. So Felipe says AI will take over grading. I don't agree with that at all. I think there's way too many, at least for 5 years or so, I think there's way too many old school people, especially in the sports market, that would not be happy if it went purely AI. But we'll see. I think it could be a good thing, especially when we're talking about, you talked heavily just then on consistency. I would think if anyone's going to be consistent, it's going to be a robot that's going to measure with a laser distances and qualities and stuff. Like that has to be a good thing in that sense.
Yeah, and I've actually been looking at that robo grading. I think that's honestly, if I was going to send anything in for grading, I think that I might try that one, just because I'm interested to see how that does. Number
with
one,
AGS.
What's that?
If you sent anything to AGS?
No. Trying to remember the last.
So AGS was, they were, when I was at Collecticon, it's the one that Gary, they had signs up with Gary's face and everything, like doing the purely AI grading, except they had like 10 staff there. So I don't know.
That is AGS. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They call it robo grading powered by AGS. Yep.
So, like, what is the future of that? Like, they're saying they are purely robo grading, like only robo grading. There's no like human touch or grade or whatever. Like they are just facilitating the physical aspect of it, none of the analytical part. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen a whole bunch of ADS 10s, but I'd be interested to see the difference between the ADS 10 and a PSA 10 and a CGC 10 and a
Yeah.
9 for each of them, because I think if there's going to be any discrepancy, it's going to be the 8s and 9s mostly out of any grade between the different companies.
Just kind of looking here because I just hit the grade your cards. I'm kind of curious on so right now with a 30-day turnaround time, it's $20 a card.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's really tempting to try a couple cards and see
I mean,
what the slab looks like, what the, comparatively to a PSA. I got a couple of them Charizard cards from the Champions Path. Maybe send one of them in because I've got one in PSA, I got one in CGC, and I might as well put them in for comparison, right?
I mean, I was just I must have at least 100 cards, like maybe 200. I got a whole box I'm looking at right now. Yeah, I'll send some in if you want to send some in. Just see what.
Be curious. Maybe we can do a dual video where we actually get them back from there and then open them and compare, look at them and see. That'd be kind of cool. That's not a bad, in the grading world, that's not a bad price. I thought it'd be a lot more for the robo grading than that.
30 days.
Yeah, 30-day, 28 to 30-day turnaround.
Who's doing 30 days right now for that price? Like there's
No, that's what I mean. You can't get $20 grading for 30-day turnaround anywhere. If you want to pay $50, you can get 14-day turnaround. And right now, if you go to $100, it's 7 days.
I just paid 50 with PSA and it was like 9 weeks, I think.
Okay. Well, this is 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
So something to consider, definitely.
Felipe said PSA 10, CGC 9.5, Robo 9. Yeah, I mean, it could be more critical, but does that mean it's more accurate? I don't know.
If you could do it, and I've said this several times, if you could take the same card and crack the slab or take it back out, or even if PSA were to do it internally, send the same card through randomly and see what the grade comes back. And if it could consistently come back every time, I think even Jacob Pokenomics said it. If you could take the same card in the robo grading, even or any grading system, and put it into the machine, 1,000 times, and it comes back the same grade 1,000 times by putting it into that machine, does that mean that the consistency is good enough for you to be happy with it? And then you're not dealing with someone coming in like who was it? PokeRev, I think, just had a bunch come back. They were all 10s. Everything was 10s from PSA. He just had an opening. He had all the Brilliant Stars pulls that he had from from all the sets that he opened for himself, chasing that Lunala. So there was probably 25. I think 20 out of the 25 came back as a 10.
Wow.
That's just crazy.
Imagine a CGC opening looking like that.
No, he did a BGS one, and I don't think he got anything above a 9. He got beat to death on that one.
Different world.
Mm-hmm.
But still, people want the PSA 10. That's what you're searching for when you're on eBay. That's what people are looking for. They're looking for the PSA 10.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm going to see if anybody's got any last questions there, Professor Oak.
Yeah, sorry, it's getting late.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna call her here for the evening. If anybody's got any questions here, and before I head out.
Ancient, who's that? Obi Bong, Ancient Mew. Any money in Spider-Man comics from mid 2000s? There's something I haven't played around with too much comics. I've got one back there, which is the first Pikachu Pokemon animation comic. Excuse me. That's literally the only one I've got.
I don't have any comic books. That was something I never got into. Go Pack, go, guys.
Okay, so you're Packers, right?
Oh yeah.
There you go, basic. We got a Packers guy.
My most nostalgic card is going to be my, once again, the Mewtwo first edition.
Most nostalgic. Plains Moltres, that's a big yeah.
If I could ever find my binder, I someday I really do got to go on a search mission, search and seek and destroy mission to find my playing binders or somewhere in my parents' house. And I literally have all first edition cards inside of there, from base set, jungle, fossil, all the way through Neo. I've also got a bunch of Expedition, Sky Ridge, all the way through up until first EX era, Sandstorm, Holland Phantoms. I said there's probably a Gold Star Pikachu sitting there. I mean, I had all them things, and they were just put in a binder, and even my playing decks were put in binders. And then when I quit in 06, I brought them up back home because I was moving from apartment to apartment.
Yep.
I just got tired of moving them all the time, and mom stored them somewhere, and she can't remember where she put them. And I said, I know some of the cards are just, there is no real value to them just because I played with them. And back then we didn't use card sleeves. We played with cards. We had our decks and they were just in a pile of cards. We stuffed them in our pocket on the playground. You never really took care of them back then. It was a card game. It was like having a deck of cards in your pocket. You didn't think anything of it. But someday I said, I really do have to just go on a complete destroy mission and find them things, because just for myself, I would love to have them. I'd never get any of them graded. That's what everybody always says. My one friend has a Charizard first edition, and he was one of the weird ones that sleeved it back in the day and put it in a binder. Wow. And this thing is like top quality PSA 10 probably all day. I've looked at this thing. There isn't a scratch, a blemish.
It's still raw.
Perfectly centered. But like he said, he would never grade it. And the reason being is that, number one, the cost. He doesn't want to sell the card. If he got it graded and it came back a PSA 10, he's going to spend what? $6,000, $7,000 to get that thing graded. He said, I'm going to have to sell the card in order to pay for the grading. So why would I do that? Unless it's for, if I'm going to sell it, then yeah, he said I would get it graded. But he said he has no intention of selling it. He wants to keep it. It's his.
I'd sell it.
And that makes you question how many more cards could potentially be out there that's $5,000 to $7,000 to get it graded is just keeping them nowhere near wanting to grade it. It's for themselves.
Yeah, valid point. Every single week, there's thousands of cards hitting the pop report for WotC alone. 1,000.
Yeah. But there again, if you have to pay that much and you have no intention of selling it, why would you grade it? Unless you're going to start displaying it, but then you might as well just go buy a fake slab off the internet and put it in there if you want to protect it that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're rich, like, obviously,
yeah,
just throw money at it.
And trust me, none of us are rich up here, so that ain't the problem.
No, I mean, you got to sell it, like you say, that's got to be the reason. But that's really exciting to think of it being in that quality.
Mm-hmm.
That's something like I can feel in my chest right now, like that emotion of seeing that card and holding it and looking at it raw, like not even graded, just looking at it raw and seeing it in such good quality. Like That's incredible. Like
Well,
that
and then I
is
sat there and laughed because I was
amazing.
looking at it, and he put it dead center, because it was in the old D-ring, the O-ring binder type thing, and it's like you see any cards in there for long term, you're like, oh no. He put it dead center, so there's no ring marks, no nothing. He laid it flat, so a couple of the edge ones were damaged because they've been sitting there for God knows how long on the bottom side of the ring. But here's Charizard. He had Charizard, Blastoise, and they were lined up this way away from the ring. So he's got all the big three, all in first edition. They were sleeved back then. He had them in the sleeves, and he put them inside the binders. And it's just all three of them are sitting there. The Venusaur has a little whitening on one of the edges, so that one won't be a 10. And the Blastoise is on the line for centering. That's a little off center, but the Charizard is just dead center. No marks in the hollow, no print lines,
That's
no
crazy.
whitening anywhere on it. I was like, I told him, he wanted me to take it out, because it's on a clear binder. I'm like,
No.
no. I'm not taking that out of that binder. I just kind of looked at it on both sides inside, and I'm like, holy crap.
Did you feel nervous? Did you feel like
I was
jittery? Like I would feel like a little like I don't know, I feel like my chest would get heavy, like of playing with that, just looking at it.
I'd be shaking. It was just like, you're sitting there looking at it. I'm just like, no, that's what he said. Well, why don't you take it out and look at it? No, I'm not taking that. I'll crush it or bend it or no. It can stay right where it's at.
That's what I can't understand with the illustrator. Like, I get that it's rarer or whatever, but like Charizard first edition is the card. Like it's number one. Like surely. Like I don't understand why illustrator supersedes that. Like wait, that is a higher.
Rarity.
There's no connection though. Nobody pulled in illustrator when they were a kid. Nobody played with it. Nobody no one existed. Like nobody. No one
that's
knew.
Why Logan Paul has it.
It's
money.
Just to be a bit different is what it is. Like it's just like so far removed from the actual game in the real world. Like obviously it's connected to the game in terms of like it being a Pokemon card and like how it came to be or whatever, but it isn't part of what we all know and we're all part of and are connected to. That first ed chart, like that's the one. Like that is it. And that that experience you're talking about, looking at in a binder, that pure raw like emotion of like just that connection of knowing what it is and like knowing how special and just how incredible that is. Like you can't put words to it. No. I mean, there's nothing like it. I'm not even a Charizard collector, but I still just can't believe the idea of having that situation that you're talking about right now. Like that just sounds immense.
Yeah. And I think every one of us that played Pokemon back there remembers pulling that card. Like you said, an illustrator, to me, I'd never spend the money on a Pokemon illustrator. I think it's a cool, rare card, but in general, it has no value to me. Once again,
no.
Besides being expensive, it has no, to me, I don't really care. Like you said, the Charizards, I've pulled Charizards. I pulled first edition Charizards. We played with first edition Charizards and really didn't think much of it. So, yeah. Like you said, that gives you the nostalgia, the memory of where you were when you pulled that first Charizard or where you were playing with your friends with the cards that you were talking about back in base set. And, like I said, I don't know. It comes down to straight money because when you talk about someone like Logan Paul who buys that card, he has advisors, like we were listening to Radar talk about how he's got, Pokemon collecting gurus all around him.
Yeah.
Telling him what to buy and that this is the great buy and that this is going to be the, cream of the crop item. Then yeah, that's exactly what you're going to get, right? He's going to buy a Pokemon Illustrator for $3.2 million because someone told him that's the best card because it's the rarest card around for its age.
If I saw that card on eBay, I think I would max out $100.
Right now?
If I didn't know like what people were paying for it and like what was going on with the craziness in terms of the pricing, if I literally saw that card and understood what it was and what it meant in its history, I still don't think I would bid more than $100 for it on eBay. Like I was bidding on it, and I didn't know recent price, sales history. Like if it just purely talking about the card, I just literally don't have that much connection. It would be a case of me adding another Pikachu to the collection. That's like literally what it looks like to me when I think about the illustrated card. That's as far as it goes.
Yeah. And for you're gonna end up having to pay $6 million in order to finish your Pikachu collection. Have your PSA 10.
Literally, master set. I'm screwed. I mean,
I was gonna say, have fun. You're gonna have to start working like 6 jobs in order to get this money put away.
Yeah, he screwed it for me. I don't know. I'm done. At least I got a bunch of cool raw ones. Yeah, I don't know. I know you wanted to sign out. Thanks for this live stream. Oh, that was sweet, Pac Menace. Thank you. Yeah, let's call it a night. I know it's late.
Yeah, let's
Yo, Super Troopers, thanks for doing this with us. This was fun having you involved with the cool people in the chat with us too. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. So I appreciate your time with us.
Oh, like I said, anytime. I enjoy sitting down, having these discussions. Like I said, just looking for get a hold of you tonight, anyways, to see because I was planning on just doing shipping, so I was gonna just hook up a live stream, sit here and put stuff together and talk to people, see what happens. So
it's fun. I just love being a part of it. Chatting and having the chat up and all the cool people in there. It's just fun. It's just fun being in it. So yeah, I think we've got another live stream tomorrow night. I don't know if you'll be free to jump in the chat and get involved. Northwoods, but yeah.
Yeah, I should be able to jump into the chat and cause some havoc. Why not?
All right. I'm gonna say see you guys.
Yep, we'll see you guys later.
Good night. Thanks, Northwoods. See you, chat. Thanks for a fun night. It was awesome.
All right.